Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the October 21st agenda meeting of South Plainfield Mayor and Council. This meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting being provided to the borough's two official newspapers and also published on the borough's website. Ms. Antonides, will you call the roll, please?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Here.
Councilman Dean?
Here.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Here.
Councilman Vesh?
Here.
And Councilman White is absent this evening. Council President Wolak?
Here. Thank you. Can you take us through a review of tonight's agenda, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This evening we have one matter on. It's a personnel matter regarding the Health Department. We have the approval of council minutes for October 7th. There are two proclamations listed on the agenda. One's for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The other is the 2019 Mischief Night and Halloween. We do have the addition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month to add to the agenda. We have one ordinance on for a second reading by title, 14 resolutions on this evening, 3 matters of correspondence, payment of bills totaling $594,139.66, council reports, and we conclude with public comments. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Council comments on agenda items?
None here. No, Mayor.
Okay, can I get a motion for executive session resolution 19-317, Personnel Health Department?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Councilman Dean, seconded by Council President Wolak. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We'll have executive session. At this point, I'll open it up for public comments on agenda items only. Seeing none, close the public portion. At this point, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's agenda meeting.
Motion. Second.
We are adjourned. Seeing no reason to delay, we'll go right to the public meeting. Again, this meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting also being provided to the borough's two official newspapers and posted on the borough's website. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll once more?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Here.
Councilman Dean?
Here.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Here.
Councilman Vesh?
Here.
Councilman White? Sorry, he's not here this evening. Council President Wolak?
Here. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Councilman Benjavanga. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, please look over this governing body. May you protect our emergency services. I'd like to also have you pray for Derek as he lost his mother this morning. Keep him in your prayers. I'm going to have a moment of silence for her. Amen.
At this point, we'll open up once again for public comments on agenda items only. Seeing none, close the public portion. Can I get a motion for the approval of council minutes for October 7th, agenda, public, and executive?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Council President Wolak, seconded by Councilwoman Faustini. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Vesh?
Yes.
Council President Wolak?
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you. We have 3 proclamations for tonight. The first will be Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and whereas October 2019 marks more than 30 years that National Breast Cancer Awareness Month has educated women about early breast cancer detection, whereas the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month is dedicated to increasing public knowledge about the importance of early detection of breast cancer by collaborating with several national public service organizations, professional associations, and government agencies who work together to ensure that the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month message is heard by thousands of women and their families. And whereas the American Cancer Society estimates in the United States more than 226,870 new cases of invasive breast cancer will be diagnosed in women this year, and whereas the American Cancer Society estimates in the United States that more than 2,190 new cases of invasive breast cancer will be diagnosed in men this year, and whereas through research and advocacy, significant advances have been made in the fight against breast cancer, including significant decreases in mortality. And whereas the 2.9 million breast cancer survivors living in the United States today are a testament to the courage as well as the importance of promoting awareness about breast cancer, providing information, funding research, following recommended screening guidelines, and offering treatment to those who are affected. Now, therefore, I, Matthew Pianesh, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim October 2019 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month and ask that all citizens to join this worthwhile cause to celebrate successes and memorialize lost battles. It's also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And whereas violence against women, children, and men continues to be more prevalent as a social problem in our society, whereas the problems of domestic violence are not confined to any group or groups of people, but cross economic, racial, and societal barriers and are supported by societal indifference. Whereas the crime of domestic violence an individual's privacy, dignity, security, and humanity due to systematic use of physical, emotional, verbal, sexual, psychological, and economic control and or abuse, with the impact of this crime being wide-ranging. And whereas with leadership, dedication, and encouragement, there is compelling evidence that we can be successful in reducing domestic and sexual violence in Middlesex County through prevention education focused on increasing gender equality and bystander intervention, increased awareness, and holding perpetrators who commit acts of violence responsible for their actions. And whereas throughout the month of October, we strongly support the efforts of national, state, and local partners and every citizen to actively engage in public and private efforts, including conversations about what domestic and sexual violence is, how to prevent it, how to help survivors connect with services, and how every segment of our society can work together to better address domestic and sexual violence. Now, therefore, I, Matthew P. Nesh, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim October 2019 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the Borough of South Plainfield and encourage everyone to join anti-domestic and sexual violence advocates and support service programs in the belief that all community members must be part of the solution to end such violence. It's hard to believe, but Halloween is just around the corner. 2019 Mischief Night and Halloween. Whereas the children of the Borough of South Plainfield are entitled to the fun and festivity associated with the observance of Halloween's trick-or-treat custom, that is, going from door to door in the immediate neighborhoods, displaying their costumes and requesting treats. And whereas the increasing possibility of accidents is an ever-present threat. Whereas the night before Halloween, Wednesday, October 30th, 2019, is known as Mischief Night, and it has traditionally been a night where childish pranks have been played. Some have said pranks have resulted in physical harm to others, as well as damage to automobiles and properties of innocent owners. Now, therefore, I, Matthew P. Nesh, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim that a curfew of 7 p.m. on Mischief Night, Wednesday, October 30th, be imposed and enforced for all minor residents of the borough to protect residents and their properties. I further proclaim that Thursday, October 31st, as Trick-or-Treat Day in the borough, with all trick-or-treat activities to be conducted between the hours of 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. pursuant to local borough ordinance. And I also ask that young children be accompanied by parents and other responsible adults. I further request that households indicate their willingness to welcome children by keeping their porch or exterior lights on, and that youngsters only call on homes so lighted. I encourage the cooperation of all citizens, young and old, in making this a happy and safe occasion for all children. I further request that because there have been in recent years incidents of children receiving and consuming articles of food and candy that have been tampered with by the inclusion of dangerous items, controlled dangerous substance, and poison, that these incidents have become highly publicized when discovered. It is recommendation of this office that parental supervision be extended to include insistence that children do not consume any treats until closely examined by their parents. It is further advised that parents follow the rule, if in doubt, throw it out, where any evidence of tampering with packages or surfaces of consumable products exists. Happy Halloween. For final adoption, ordinance 2157.
An ordinance amending ordinance 2137 that provides for the compensation of part-time employees for the Borough of South Plainfield for the years 2019 through 2023 to now include the position of recreation leader. 2157.
2157. Can I get a motion for final adoption on ordinance 2157?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Faustini, seconded by Council President Wolak. As this is for final adoption, I'll open it up for public comments regarding ordinance 2157. Seeing none, close the public portion. Council comments?
No,
Seeing none, Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
And Council President Willock?
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for adoption on resolutions 19-318 to 19-331?
So moved.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Benjavanga, seconded by Councilman Dean. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Council President Willock?
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you. We have 3 items of correspondence for tonight. Environmental Commission minutes for August 14th, the Property Maintenance Monthly Report for September, and the Najarian Associates recommendations to bid road sewer improvements in spring 2020. Can I get a motion for adoption?
Motion.
Motion by Council President Wolak, seconded by Councilman Bess. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
And Council President Willock?
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for payment of the bills of $594,139.66?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Motion by Councilman Dean, seconded by Council President Wolak. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
And Council President Willock?
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you. Mr. Rizzo, anything for us tonight?
No, Mr. Mayor, progress.
Thank you. Mr. Cullen.
Yes, Mayor, just a couple quick items. Last week, we did send out the edited and omitted tax bills. It's actually the largest edited and omitted tax bill billing that we've had since 2007. So we are definitely going to see a fairly significant increase in our rateable base at the end of 2019. As everybody knows, the demolition of the pool has started. All the liner has been removed. I spoke to the contractor today. They're looking to possibly even expand some of the area that they have there now that they're about to ramp up pretty significantly, some of the work that they're doing there. I sent out a bunch of Nixle alerts, one Friday, one yesterday, one this morning, in regards to New Brunswick Avenue. That work has started. It's an emergency repair. We have another sewer emergency repair, similarly that's going to be starting. But this one, luckily, is actually under Putnam Park and won't be blocking any roadways. I was asked tonight whether or not New Brunswick Avenue will be closed for the week. They're hoping for it to be 4 days. That's weather permitting, so that's why, I think the Nixle that I said this morning said it would be 5 days. So, and with that progress, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Glenn covered all the sewer work, so the only other thing I have
Sorry.
is, that's no problem, makes it easier for me. I am looking to get prices to repair the lighting over at the park here, Memorial Park, so I'll get some prices in by the end of the week, I think,
Okay.
and with that progress.
Thank you. Ms. Antonides.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. October 17th, we had our annual poll worker training class over at the Senior Center. And the county told us how pleased they are with our consistent high turnout at our location. And so that's been a great success over there. But on that note, I also want to point out that next year they're going to be rolling out brand new voting machines
Really?
for our town. Yep. They're pretty cool. I've tested them out already. They're like giant tablet versions and all touch screen. They're fairly easy, user-friendly. So there'll be a lot of training going on next year as well. So,
Excellent.
and with that progress.
Maybe we can get one of the old ones as a Democracy Day. You never know when the next Democracy Day comes up. Thank you. Councilman Bess.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would just like to give a shout out to everybody that was involved in Saturday's Fall Festival. It was a tremendous turnout. My grandkids and I had a blast. I heard a lot of positive remarks. It was really well done, so I'd like to congratulate all the volunteers and everybody who did any kind of work out there. They did a great job. And Len and Glenn have spoke about everything else that I need to talk about, so with that progress.
All the county's guys that I guess work under Gary were all at the meeting, and the county's been very good with the work in New Brunswick Avenue.
Excellent. Councilwoman Faustini.
Yes, to start, I will echo Councilman Vesta's comments. Saturday's Fall Fest was wonderful, and thank you so much to the library for really growing this event and making it, a South Plainfield tradition now. Two other events that are coming up on November 9th. I'm sure everyone's aware we did not have our Labor Day parade this year. So the Public Celebrations Committee is planning an alternate celebration that will be Veterans Day weekend. Veterans Day will be Monday. So that weekend, we're going to hold an event to honor our veterans. It will start at Monument Park right over here. We'll place a wreath, do a little tribute, maybe say a prayer for the veterans, and then the band and possibly the cheerleaders are going to head everybody over to Veterans Park, where the rest of the event will be held. Some of the people who were in the parade, the stilt walkers and people like that, the costume characters, they will be there for photo ops with the children. There will be bouncy houses, and there will be several food vendors. So it should be a really fun time, and that's, again, Saturday, November 9th in Veterans Park. Another event that's coming up is the Cappy Awards. That will be held on November 16th. That's honoring Georgianne Cochran this year. That will be held at 6:30 p.m. at the Senior Center. And tickets are now on sale. You can get them in the PAL, or you can get them on Community Pass. I just tested that and got mine today. So that's up and working. So tickets are available there as well. Basketball and wrestling signups are still underway, continuing. And I also want to congratulate everyone who did a scarecrow outside. I think that the scarecrow decorating is really kind of a cool addition for this time of year. So thanks for everyone who participated.
Did you notice the pit crew one?
I did. I love that one.
Yeah,
I
they
think
can
that
make-
one might be my favorite. The pit crew one actually has the head, right, coming up, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
We lift things up and put them down.
Yes, yes,
It was
very
a
good.
windy night, but it came out very nice.
Yeah, yep.
They
So,
all did a great job. I thought.
yes, so, and with that, progress.
Thank you. Councilman Benjavanga.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week, something came up to my attention, and I wanted to just kind of recap and bring it up to everybody's attention. Councilman Dean, back about a couple months ago, you brought up an issue to Len and I about the house that was built on Clark Lane, that had the fire.
Yes.
So you mentioned that you stopped by and that, there was, the guy came out and complained, I guess, about our building department. And then at the next meeting, you then said that there was a drainage issue next door. That the neighbor had said that the water was running off because the guy increased the elevation. My concern is, I was out, and I saw that your company did
We did the final grading.
you
This
did
was
the final
before-
grading.
This, my company, the issue was before we did any grading.
I understand, I
The
understand
neighbors
that.
were complaining about, and me and Glenn have talked about this, was why was the house allowed to be built further out of the ground than what the existing property was?
I understand that, but you brought that complaint to the officials in the borough. And then the neighbor, because the neighbor complained, you had previously met the homeowner of the person who raised the elevation. And then you got the job to
No. I had.
grade that.
No. I had the job for building steps. The other contractor that was doing the work was supposed to do it and backed out of it, couldn't come through with it, and then she had asked me about it. So I didn't have that job, and I didn't come to the borough and do something that, was trying to use borough power to solve an issue. The fireman next door, Mike Mazzelli, came to me and asked me, how was this house approved to be built out of the ground higher than what it was originally? And I said, I have no idea. Call the town, ask them. And he
Correct, so
said,
you
"Not
went to the
one-"
town, but then you ended up getting a contract to regrade the property.
That was well after the fact.
But that's the point.
But-
You made the complaint, and then after the fact, you got
So
the
she had
contract.
asked me, can I grade it and try to alleviate the problems of making the water?
Yeah,
And
but
I
you
said,
don't, you don't see a problem with making a complaint to the borough and then after the fact
no, I
getting
didn't
the
make a
contract?
complaint. I just asked the town, was there a reason why the house was allowed to be built out of town? If I was making a complaint about it, I would have made a bigger deal about it and said, well, how did the guy get approved to build a house and not take any of the dirt off of the site?
But
Basically, he took
essentially
all
you-
the dirt from digging a foundation and just mounted around his house.
But essentially, you asked Len and Glenn to look into
To look
why
into
it
it,
was
correct.
raised, and then after the fact, got the contract to grade the property.
And you know what? I fixed it.
Yeah, but that's not the point. You can't use your council position
I
to
wasn't
have a
using my
financial
council,
gain.
Rob,
I don't
I
think
wasn't
this is
using my
the place to
council
do that.
position, okay?
And then,
I was
okay,
doing
okay.
something as a neighbor asked me
Yeah, but you can't,
that I'm on the council and asked me to look into it.
okay, so then let me.
So I didn't say, oh, you know what, I'm on the council, let's go complain to the town about it, and then try to pick up a $2,500 grading job.
But let me also ask you this question then. Last year and this year, you made the complaint about Dollar General and the weeds.
Yeah,
Who cleared the weeds out after you made the complaint?
my company.
Exactly
That's not
my
me.
point. You can't
But
do
I
that.
can't stop the business owner from calling me, and first off, they didn't even
But that's,
call me.
but the whole point is you're making a complaint about a piece of
No.
property, and then
Again,
later
I'm
on.
following up with a complaint from residents that live along the South
It
Maple Ave.
doesn't matter whether you're following up with a complaint from, Paul, can you please inform him what the ethics laws are in New Jersey? Because you
Right.
cannot use your position to make a complaint and then get the job, no matter if they called you or not. You cannot do that.
Rob, I don't know what to tell you. My business has been in this town for 15 years. I'm very well known in it. I can't stop somebody from calling me. What do you want me to do?
Well, the state statutes, which is what we, which is what we would be bound by.
And I didn't handle Dollar General. They called my business partner because that's who.
But it doesn't
The
matter.
number
You
went
made the
to?
complaint to John Abruzzese, and then you got the contract to get rid of the weeds. That's the point. And that's a financial gain on
And
the.
John, I don't think you intentionally did anything,
I
but you
didn't,
can
Mayor,
understand it.
absolutely
You
not.
can understand it clearly, just, it looks bad. The appearance is probably worse than anything, right? And I mean, I understand what he's saying. And unfortunately, people are gonna come to you, and they're gonna come to all of us for things that happen around town. You've got a little bit more exposure to that since you have a business that when you're dealing with these type of complaints, inadvertently, you could end up getting the job. I don't know what you do to prevent that, other than.
But the other point is this, like,
Well,
you
the-
also need to learn how to recuse yourself, because you just voted on an authorization to refund the tax appeal judgment for 50 Cragwood Road, right?
Yeah.
Well, Parth owns that, who's partners with Frenwell,
Okay.
and you do all the landscaping and the snow plowing for Frenwell. So
Yeah,
shouldn't
and
you have
don't you do the
recused?
garbage for them too?
I don't personally do the garbage for them.
Your Republic doesn't do
I
the
do not
garbage?
represent any of their accounts.
Okay. Because
But-
I believe you have a pretty good connection too with Jason, who owns Frenwell too, correct?
I know Jason, yes,
A
but
very
I
good
don't
connection.
financially benefit from Jason, so
Well,
my
I don't know
my
if you
point,
do,
my
but your
point.
company does, right? Your company does all of Frenwell?
No, they don't. They do one building, for one hotel for Frenwell, which I don't represent. But the point is, you should have recused yourself because you personally do it. I don't. And the other thing
And
is,
actually,
even with Stillo.
Frenwell does not own
Hold
50
on,
Cragwood.
Before we
the
get to the
partner
point,
But you,
So-
but
Paul, you
also-
were making some kind of point about the state.
Yeah, I mean, it's fact sensitive,
Mhm.
all right? But the point is, the state statutes provide you can't use your position to gain what they call unwarranted privilege or advantage. Now, unwarranted, like everything in law, is, how do you define it? It depends on the circumstance. There's another section that indicates you can't use information you obtain from your position to gain a financial advantage. So if it's a situation where, and I'm not saying it is,
Yeah,
John, I don't
no,
know
I'm
the
listening.
details, but if it's a situation where you cause a complaint, the homeowner, property owner is told they have to do something, and then you went to the property owner, that would be a
Correct.
problem, okay? If there's another factual scenario, I don't know. But, and just as the mayor said, which I've always said, the code of ethics does provide that you have to avoid a real conflict and appearance of a conflict. It's the appearance of a conflict.
And even
that causes
with Dollar
problems.
General, I wasn't the only one that made the complaint. John Abruzzese already had received numerous complaints.
But how did?
So I
okay.
can't stop a company from calling.
I'm not saying
You know.
you need to stop them,
Yeah.
but perhaps you need to say, I really shouldn't be involved in it. I don't know all the facts,
Mhm.
okay? And it's not for me to make the determination, but I've always maintained for anybody. My philosophy is, if there's a question, any doubt, don't do it. Avoid it. So, that's,
And that's my point, is,
okay. Like I said, I'm not
I think the only
judging,
thing you
I'm
can
not
do
making
is refer people
determinations.
to either the administrator or something like that. It's the safest thing for you to do. This way you're not involved at all.
Like I said, the question can come up that it looks bad.
Mhm.
that becomes a problem. And if there's a question, you can always ask the local finance board for an opinion. And maybe going forward, that's something we should consider, just to make sure what's clear in terms of where we're going for the future.
Correct. I would agree. Progress.
Thank you. Councilman Dean.
Progress.
Thank you. Council President Wolbeck.
For my family and the residents of South Plainfield, I'd like to extend my thoughts and prayers to Councilman White and his family for the loss of his mom. With that, progress.
I agree. Anyone who knows Derek and, especially friends with him on Facebook, I've seen countless pictures of him and his mom, and I know just how much she meant to him.
Mayor,
And
I just
so it's
wanna
tough.
make one last
Yeah,
comment.
sure.
Is, I think almost everybody in this room probably went to,
Oh, Jim, yeah.
pay respects to Jim Volkrow.
Yeah,
Jim
definitely.
obviously was council president here, he worked at the county, and everybody, I've written down here before, if you were to look up gentleman in the dictionary, you would see a picture of Jim. So I don't want tonight to end without somebody saying some words from Jim Volkrow, who was really a gentleman, and he was just a great person, friend. He was great on council, and I know he was great working for the county, so.
Yeah, no, I was there, and my sister went to school with his sister, grammar school, and my father's known, and my family have known the Vocals for a long, long time. And so when I went there, I did present, the family with some pins, the borough seals. I don't know if Jim had one in the past, but certainly, with his service to the borough, he certainly deserved that. His family deserved it. So they were very appreciative. But yes, a big loss to the entire community. With that, progress, we'll open up for anything on your mind. Okay, seeing none, we're going to close the public portion. We're going to executive session. You can talk amongst yourselves. We'll be back as soon as possible.